Hello and welcome, friends. This is Mystic Al, or Nathan. Today we have another pick a card reading for you. Today's theme is all about your future spouse, the person that you will meet to spend the rest of your life with and potentially marry if you believe in that and that's what you're after. So this reading will touch on their personality, their strengths, some of their weaknesses also. I guess parts of their personality that they'll bring to the relationship and what they can add to the blossoming relationship between you. So we'll start with the oracle cards to get an idea about their personality. Then we'll move on to the tarot cards to get some more information about who they are, what their strengths are, and to get an idea about how you're likely to meet them in the future, when and how you're likely to meet them. And finally, we'll finish off with some beautiful, loving words of wisdom and insight that I wrote earlier, just to see what your relationship's likely to be like, basically. I hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are around the world. It's a beautiful, warm winter's day here in Australia. But before we get started, we have 4 piles to choose from. I've used some Australiana coasters for you to choose from. So pile number 1 is the koala. Pile 2 is the Kookaburra. Pile 3 is the Cockatoo. And pile 4 is the kangaroo. So as per usual, please use your intuition to choose a pile. Remember, this is a general reading, so take only that which resonates with you and leave the rest behind. Remember, there's multiple people watching this. But on that, let's get started with pile number 1, the koala, and find out all about your future spouse. Hello, pile 1. You have the lovely koala. With a very interesting shirt. It's very vibrant, colourful. So I do sense that your future spouse, pile 1, with the koala, they're nocturnal, so they're a bit of a night owl. They spend a lot of their waking hours at night. Quite sort of affectionate and cuddly, I suppose. I kind of get the vibe that they might be a bit of a homebody, somebody that likes spending time at home with their family. But with that really quite unique and quirky shirt that they're wearing, I think they might be a bit of an oddball, a bit unique with personality, have an odd and interesting sense of humor. I almost kind of feel like they might be a little bit nerdy. And I mean that in like the most positive sense, that I think they're probably very astute with their study, but they have some really interesting and quirky interests, I think, you know. So somebody that's a little bit out of the box. But I hope that's what you're after. Anyway, it's just what I'm getting from this coaster. But let's find out more about your future spouse. By looking at your oracle cards, we'll get an indication of the personality from these cards, some of their strengths and weaknesses also. So your first card is the third eye chakra. Ooh, okay. Oh, and you have the crown chakra. Okay, that's really interesting. So both of those cards, so they're the top 2 chakras of the body, the 6th and 7th chakras, both kind of related to the mind a little bit. And I did pick up on somebody that might be a little bit nerdy, or I suppose intellectual also. I'm sensing this person is a very bright individual, probably has a lot of interest in like reading and expanding their knowledge. Quite articulate with the way they speak. They are very passionate about the things that they learn. Probably an academic, somebody that's into research or wants to expand their horizons a little bit more as they get older. So they have a wide variety of interests, I'm sensing. But also these two chakras are really related to, I guess, sort of like the ethereal realms, being in contact with I guess their angels and their guides, but also picking up on like messages of insight, I suppose. So they're very open to, I guess, the spiritual realm. They might be highly connected to their guides and to spirituality in general. Somebody that considers themselves to be maybe a mystic, or is open to new concepts. I'm getting from this person, absolutely, in the sense that they're incredibly intelligent and they don't want to close or narrow their mind on a certain belief pattern or system. So someone that I think is very open to experiencing new things and letting a lot of insight in and sharing that with other people. You have the 9th house, okay, which is all about learning new things and concepts. What does it say here down the bottom? Broadening your horizons, either spiritually, academically, or on a long journey. Okay, that really goes well with what I was picking up from this this person. Yeah, they are open to learning new things, absolutely. They're open to new concepts and ideas, like shifting their paradigms. If they find something that suits them better, then they'll take that on and leave other things behind that maybe outdated, I suppose. So I'm also sensing like quite sort of Aquarian energy from this reading, even though you've got the 9th house here, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Somebody that I think is, as I mentioned, quite intellectual, but also just wants to learn new things and new concepts, meet new people, get out there and share their insight and wisdom with other people. So even though they might be quite a bit of an oddball and a little bit unique, I sense somebody that's very, very warm and loving and that has a very like community-based sort of vibe and wants to do whatever they can to lift other people up and to just have a lot of fun by being around other people, I'm sensing. Your next card is Neptune. Okay. Neptune rules the 12th house of spirituality and mysticism, the other realm, being in contact with the other side. Your fantasies, yearnings, longings, and potential for illusion. Ooh, okay. So I also sense this person is quite a bit of a dreamer. They're in their head a little bit. I think they have such an incredibly intelligent mind that is constantly racing, and they're coming up with new concepts, new ideas all the time. So there might be somebody that like loses themselves in fantasy a little bit sometimes. They're probably very interested in, I guess, a fantastical sort of genre in general. Maybe somebody that likes to read a lot of like fiction novels, like mystery novels, is into fantasy, watches a lot of like sci-fi movies potentially. I get like a real sci-fi nerdy vibe from this individual here, from the koala. But despite that, they're also very, very loving. Neptune also is a very soft energy, sort of a very feminine energy, quite sort of compassionate and caring, very, very insightful too. Neptune rules, like, as I mentioned, is ruled by Pisces, or rules Pisces, which is kind of a very, very spiritual sort of energy too. So definitely associated with like the last 2 or 3 zodiac signs where they've done a lot of like expansion and growth in their life, and that's something that's very, very important to them, I'm sensing. Broadening horizons, learning new things, working out what fits in their sort of what fits them as a person and what they want to take on in their belief system, I think, and probably are very, very sort of rigid and dogmatic about their beliefs and stick to certain patterns. And the last card here, discernment. You are developing the skill to distinguish love from fear and truth from illusion. Well, that's really interesting because it says here in the Neptune card, yearnings, longing, and potential for illusion. So I think potentially in this past, this person has probably been through, well, the flip side of Piscean energy is kind of getting lost in illusion sometimes, dabbling in things that maybe aren't so good for them because they're trying to escape reality a little bit. Maybe they get caught in their own head, like living in fantasy land sometimes, or they throw themselves completely into, I guess, the fantastical sort of like world. Maybe they read a lot and they don't socialize at times. They may have actually been caught up in the past in certain addictive patterns and behaviors, just to try and escape reality, or potentially not even escape reality, but they just kind of got caught up in like not really participating in reality a little bit. So that might be one of their weaknesses that they're working on. I do sense that they're definitely overcoming it because they do have the 9th house here, which is all about expanding the horizon and learning new things, wanting to make the best of this life. But the 9th house also rules like it rules higher learning, but also wanting to share that wisdom with other people too. Sagittarians are go-getters. They want to like make the best of this life and to show other people what you can do if you put your mind to something, you know. So they're not restricted in the sense that they're like caught up in their head. I think they may have a tendency sometimes to get really excited about certain concepts, and when they get excited about something, they throw themselves into it completely, and they learn everything they can about that topic until they've like exhausted it and they want to move on to something else, you know. So this is definitely somebody that's expanding their mind with learning new ideas and concepts and integrating that into their life constantly. And I think this is somebody that's very enthusiastic about academia in general. So they're like, their partner, I sense, is somebody that would suit them like that. I sense that you also, Power One, are very, very passionate about learning new things and are very open-minded also. Probably somebody, I think, that's non-judgmental. I sense that this person is like really taken a lot of time to try and accept who they are. They've accepted that they're a little bit different and unique, quite quirky. As I was picking up on some very strong Aquarian energy in this reading already. Very, very insightful, incredibly intelligent, and are learning to accept that as part of who they are and part of their strengths, you know. So I sense they're very, very loving too, as I mentioned with the koala here, and also the Piscean energy that I'm getting from this. They're a very compassionate and soft individual too. So yeah, they seem quite well-rounded to me. Somebody that is a little bit different and outside of the box and is learning to be quite proud of that, I think. So I hope you're like that too, or that you're very accepting of that Power One, because I think that's a big part of who they are and what's important to them. But moving on from that, I just want to reiterate also with the third eye in the crown chakra here, along with Neptune, which would also have like the 12th house of mysticism, somebody that I think is very, very spiritually connected. They may be quite religious or very dogmatic in their spiritual beliefs. They may have some very, very strong sort of spiritual practices that they practice each and every day. Or they just are open to like believing in other things that maybe, you know, other people that are very like caught up in the 3D realm may not be open to. So, but I do sense if you're watching this video and you're watching a tarot and oracle reading that you're probably quite spiritual or open to other concepts too. So I think you'll have that in common, which I think is really lovely. Moving on from that Power One, let's see if we can get some further messages for you from the tarot. We'll get a couple of cards to start with that will sort of expand upon what we've been talking about here, about their personality, maybe some of their strengths. And then after that, we'll get a couple of cards. God, that just wanted to jump out of the deck. So you have the 8 of Swords here. Okay. And we'll see if we can get one more. And then we'll move on and get an idea about how you're likely to meet them in the future. Possibly when you'll meet them in the future. One more card, please, for pile number 1, their future spouse, about their strengths and personality, please, Spirit. So you have the 8 of Swords, which is an interesting card. As I mentioned, 8 of Swords, the swords relates to the mind, right? I just put it there with the third eye in the crown chakra. Incredibly intelligent, but I do sense in the past, or sometimes they have a tendency to get a little bit caught up in their head, as I mentioned. Potentially they're so intellectual. You also have the 9 of Swords. Okay, so you've got 2 cards that are a little bit hard and dark. So you've got both the 8 and 9 of Swords. There's progression there. Really interesting. As I mentioned, that sometimes in the past, I think that they've got this so intelligent, so bright, that they have a racing mind. They overthink things too much, and it may sometimes, or possibly in the past, have allowed them to get some anxiety issues. They worry a lot about possibly how people perceive them, what people think about them. They worry about what it is that they need to do next in the future. Maybe they worry about what the right sort of belief system is for them. I get a feeling that this is something that they've managed to overcome, or that they're currently overcoming anyway. I think because they've had such a hard time in the past, Power One, they've turned to, looking for some sort of belief system that can give them a little bit more faith in life and allow them to see their own strengths and beauty. And this is definitely, as I picked up on, something that they're learning about themselves, is that these sort of slightly unique and quirky like personality traits that they have are actually in a way a strength and not a detriment, because it makes them a little different to everybody else. And they definitely bring a different sort of like perception on life to their relationships and reality. They see things from a different perspective, and to look at a situation and to see how maybe it might be beneficial, or why, just to see things that other people can't see, So I think in the past they may have dwelled upon like how them being different has caused them a lot of pain, and they've just wanted to try and fit in. But now they're getting to a point where they just want to be themselves and are not trying anymore to to force being somebody that they're not. And I think that's really, really beautiful. Like, this is somebody that's learning self-acceptance and self-love, I think. And I think they've done a lot of work with trying to maybe change patterns in the past that were not so healthy. Somebody that may have had addictive issues. Definitely I see somebody that may have had anxiety problems, but has done a lot of inner work and has managed to draw upon higher beliefs, insight, wisdom, messages that they receive from their guides to change their life for the better. I think now, in a way, they're probably dedicating a lot of their life to sharing the insight and wisdom they're receiving. I think that this is definitely somebody that I would see probably gets a lot of signs and synchronicities from the universe to try and help them change their mindset, but also to try and allow people to see things from a different perspective, which I think is really beautiful. So they've come a long way, absolutely. And I do think that maybe this is someone that I think you might resonate with at a deeper level, in the sense that maybe you've been through some of this stuff yourself, Pile One, or at least I think you're somebody that's very, very understanding and compassionate towards people that have been through this stuff. So I think you definitely balance each other up quite well. Now let's get an idea about how you might meet them in the future. When you might likely meet them, Spirit. When will Pile One meet their future spouse? Under what circumstances? Where and when Pile One will Where and when, Spirit, will Pile number 1 meet their future spouse, please? Ooh, okay. Wow, the first 2 cards that jumped out there were the Ace of Cups and the Star card. Beautiful. Okay. So what I'm getting from this, the Star is all about hope for something better in your life. The Star comes after the Tower, where your life has fallen apart. You've had some drastic changes. You're wondering why you went through a certain experience and what it is that you're going to learn from it. The Star card comes in to give you renewed faith and hope in life. And the Ace of Cups for me is all about sort of healing energy, finding love again. So I think this is indicating to me that, as I was picking up on, maybe you also have this in common, Pile One, where you've been through some hardships and you've had to really work on overcoming certain patterns in your life that weren't working for you. And it might be something that you're still working on right now, and I really commend you for doing the work. But what I'm getting from these 2 cards, the Star card and the Ace of Cups, is an indication to me that when you get to a place where you accept yourself for who you are and you've done a lot of healing, that you have hope for the future, and you're looking to the future for happiness, and are genuinely believing that your life is going to be a lot better because you've overcome a lot of things that you've been working on. It does say here in discernment, you are developing the skill to distinguish love from fear. I think that maybe you and this person have been through similar challenges in life, where you've had to dig deep to work through overcoming addiction patterns or negative sort of self-belief patterns. And this is indicating to me that there's a lot of love and hope in your future. And when you get to a place where you're feeling good about yourself, and that you know that you are of worth and that you have so much to give, and that you're feeling good about yourself, it's just naturally going to happen. You're going to draw this person to you. This is giving me sort of karmic soulmate energy, in the sense that I think both of you have been through so much that is very similar in the past, that you're just going to understand each other so intimately, and it's going to be a very loving, understanding and healing relationship, because you'll both be so non-judgmental and accepting of each other's challenges and strengths, So this is somebody that really, really identifies with you at a deep level and cares for you, and vice versa, for both your virtues and the things that you have to offer this world, but also for your vices and the things that you've been through. I think they will also see all of the things that they've managed to overcome and the things that you've managed to overcome, Pile One, as strengths and as lessons that you've learned that have made you a better person, And I think that's really, really, really beautiful. So this is quite a lovely reading. Good for you, Pile One. Somebody that understands you intimately, and I think that's the most important thing of all. Moving on, let's get a closeout message for you from these little nuggets of loving insight that I wrote I wrote a little bit earlier. Spirit, can we get some further messages for pile number 1? Just about their relationship and what their future spouse brings to the partnership. Any further messages, please, Spirit, for pile number 1? See if we can get one more. Oh, okay. It just jumped out of the deck, didn't it? You're not only my lover, you're my best friend. Okay, that's beautiful. Somebody that understands you so intimately, that just, I think is, well, very, very attracted to you and loves you so dearly. But I think because, as I mentioned earlier, you've been through such similar things in life that they really, really like, your hearts and souls resonate at the same frequency, and you just get each other and understand each other and support each other, most importantly. I am lost without you. Oh, that was the first one I wrote, actually. This is quite sweet in the sense that I think that it'll almost be love at first sight. I think you'll know as soon as you meet them that this is somebody that you're meant to have in your life, and soon that love will grow, and without you in their life and vice versa, I think you'll just feel as if, you just complete each other, really, which I think is really lovely. What a beautiful relationship coming your way, pile 1. Remember, I think when you get to a place where you're feeling good about yourself and you've really overcome a lot of challenges and you feel like you've done a lot of healing and you're happy with yourself, I think that's when you're going to meet this person. I've also just realized too, I was picking up on some strong Aquarian energy with the koala here, and both of these cards related to the mind. Lots of strong sort of like mental energy here, but the star card is actually rules Aquarius. So they may have some Aquarian placements in their zodiac. They may be an Aquarian sun. Potentially they have Aquarius in their 7th house of relationships and partnerships. But somebody that's very, very insightful and has a strong connection to something else. So I hope that's what you're after. I thoroughly enjoyed this reading. I hope you enjoyed it too, pile 1. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. I wish you a beautiful day. And let's move on to pile 2. Hello, welcome pile 2. You have the Kookaburra. You can see this coaster has been well used. Excellent. So the Kookaburra, if you're not in Australia, I love kookaburras. It's one of my favorite birds. They're very boisterous. They're very loud. They have a unique call where they cackle. It sounds as if they're laughing, like and they sit together in a group in a tree, and when one starts laughing or cackling, they all laugh together. They're meant to be, I guess, a totem animal for just having fun. They're a little bit cheeky, kind of reminds me of almost like trickster energy, someone that I think likes to have a bit of a laugh and play some tricks on people. So high energy, lots of fun to be around, likes to have a laugh, I think. And so that's probably very, very, that resembles your future partner, I think, your future spouse. So probably somebody that is high energy, a lot of fun, a bit sort of creative and trickstery. They like to be quite playful, bring a lot of like playful energy to everything that they do. I quite like that shirt too, with the little doggy on the bottom. So there might be somebody that enjoys like being around other animals, is quite sort of, loves animals, loves other beings, I think. Anyway, let's get an idea about their personality, pile 2. We'll start with your oracle cards. So this will tell us, a little bit more about their personality and their strengths and maybe some of their weaknesses too, things that they're working on. So they have personal boundaries card, number 16. Choice, assertiveness, empowerment, and authenticity. Okay. Ooh, creativity, number 35. I think I said that just a little bit earlier. Somebody that's a little bit creative. Imagination, expression, originality, and passion. Right, passion really stands out to me there. As I mentioned, this is somebody that I think just has a lot of love for life and likes to bring a lot of like playful, fun-loving energy to everything that they do. If they can make something that's mundane enjoyable by just telling jokes or maybe making it a game somehow. That's part of their personality, is trying to turn everything that they can into something that they can have fun with, you know? Somebody that sees the brighter side of life, I sense. I also am seeing, as I mentioned earlier, this is somebody that has a lot of high energy too, with the Kookaburra here. With the personal boundaries card, empowerment, I think this is someone that is probably very, very driven. I just am seeing somebody, or getting an idea about someone that that knows what they want in life and really knows how to go after it. Potentially what they want in life is they're living a creative sort of lifestyle. They might be a creative in general, so they might be very artistic. They may have a beautiful song voice too. As I mentioned, Kookaburra is very loud and exuberant, high energy, so they might be a singer, or they might be in communication somehow, some sort of role where they use their voice and articulate, you know, their thoughts, try to empower other people to be better. They do well in like life coaching or psychology or something like that. So a creative individual, a very fun-loving individual, but somebody that knows what they want and they're going after it. They don't let anybody else get in their way. I think this is also somebody that really like believes in themselves, has a lot of confidence in getting also. But they do have a softer side to them too. With the dog here, this does indicate to me that maybe they just love animals too, so they've got that sort of nice balance of being very assertive and a go-getter, but also know how to have a lot of fun and to really bring it down when they need to a little bit. Ooh, you have the card of Saturn, which doesn't really surprise me at all. The part of you that accepts the challenge to gain wisdom, right? Saturn reminds me of very sort of disciplined energy. It kind of, it rules the, Saturn is the co-ruler of the 11th house, which is all about making your dreams come true and, you know, helping your community and the people around you in a way. Wish fulfillment, but it's through discipline and hard work that you achieve those things. So this is somebody that is very driven, I think, that likes to see a challenge, as I mentioned earlier, likes to see a challenge as a way to learn, and they want to see they're very optimistic, I think. If they can see how they can make a challenge something fun or something that they can learn from, then they just go after it. They're not sort of like, they're not in any way sort of intimidated by things getting in their way or by having to learn new things to broaden their horizon a little bit more. Very, very disciplined and hardworking, I'm seeing too. You have the 8th house. This transformational area of your life is all about shared resources and intense emotions. Interesting, okay. I love that it has the 2 rings here, as you can see there too. This is a future spouse reading, so that could indicate to me that if you're interested and open to marriage, then that's definitely on the cards I see with these cards piled too. But with the 8th house here too, I do sense that this is somebody that's maybe like changed their path in life. It does talk about transformation. Maybe through the challenges that they've had in the past, they've had to sort of really like dig deep to overcome sort of personal limiting beliefs, or they've potentially taken a different path in their career or something like that. They've decided that they want to, change paths and go after their creative calling, possibly. I am sensing this person has had like a bit of an upheaval, but it's been a good upheaval because it's made them sort of realize that they want to be happy and go after things that bring them joy in life. And now that's something that they're very dedicated to, and they're chasing their dreams, is what I'm seeing from these cards, absolutely. They've managed to put up personal boundaries in the sense that they don't let anybody or anything get in their way. But also I think that they've managed to change habits in the past that just weren't working for them, and they've become a better person. They've learned and grown through all of the hardships that they've had. And I think they want somebody that understands that and has a very, very similar outlook on life. So I sense possibly that you have a similar outlook to pile 2. Maybe you're a very driven individual, or you want somebody that has a lot of drive and inspiration, a lot of creativity. This is somebody that I think manages to come up with different and unique sort of like solutions to problems if there's a hurdle in their life. As I mentioned, they manage to find a way to make it fun or to see the blessings of that lesson, but are able to come up with like ideas or concepts or solutions to challenges that most people wouldn't see, I think. So they're quite creative in their thought patterns too. And they have the card of trust. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice, yes, and you have faith in your intuition. Right, this kind of really goes well with the creativity card. I just sense that this is somebody that wants to follow their heart and do things that brings them joy in life. So they have a very like free-spirited energy in a way too, right? Even though you've got Saturn here, which is all about discipline, hard work, overcoming challenges and learning from them. They've learned that through the trials and tribulations that they've had in the past, that they only just want to have fun and live a lighter, more vibrant, uplifting life. And they want to follow things and do things that bring them joy. They want to be around people that they can laugh with. They want a relationship that's fun and uplifting and fun-loving, where also they get the freedom to pursue the things that they want. So they want a partner that supports them in chasing their dreams and their desires. Somebody that compliments them and allows them to have the freedom to go after the things that they want. But they just want to have fun. Most importantly, this person is just, they follow their heart's desires. And trusting in their intuition, it says here too, I think allows them to go down certain paths that other people may not see, to do things that other people would think that they're completely crazy coming up with, and having a lot of success with it too. I see this person being very confident in their abilities and probably have achieved a lot just through sheer discipline and determination, I think, which I completely commend because, you know, hard work pays off, right? So good for them. I hope that's what you're after. Maybe you have a very similar outlook on life. You might be very driven also, pile 2. Potentially you've had to change a lot of things in your past so that you can get to the point where, you know, you're starting to see the rewards for all of that hard work. So good on you, pile 2. Moving on, let's get some further messages from the tarot. So we'll get some further insight and wisdom about this person's personality and strengths. We'll see if we get a couple of cards that indicates who they are as a person. Ooh, okay, so they have the Queen of Pentacles. That's really beautiful and quite sort of like symbolic of the reading, I think. The Queen of Pentacles, as I mentioned, hard work and discipline. And Pentacles is like earth energy, which is very slow moving, slow growth. Slowgress is kind of the catchphrase that I would use, where they've realized through sort of real strong discipline and determination that if they want to achieve their goals, and they've got the Queen of Pentacles here, which indicates they've achieved a lot, because look at her, she's sitting out in the beautiful nature, like basking in all of the glory that she's managed to achieve for herself. They've achieved a lot already. This is somebody that's very, very hardworking, very, very driven and dedicated to their goals. But also the Queen of Pentacles is a very soft and compassionate energy, which I was picking up on earlier too with the dog there. Somebody that I think wants to share their wealth with other people and likes to lift other people up, likes to be somebody that is very generous and warm with their not just their resources, but with their energy and their personality in general. Somebody that's very, very loving and giving and just wants to put a smile on people's faces, you know, but also likes to enjoy the benefits of the life that they've created for themselves. So they probably are very, very like, they love to get out into nature. They love to go on holidays. They like sort of the finer aspects of life and getting strong sort of Taurian energy in this reading. Fine dining, you know, going on luxurious cruises. Just enjoying what life has to offer, really. A fun-loving individual that wants the best for everyone around them. And your next card, there it is. We'll take the top one there. Oh, wow, okay. That's crazy, the King of Pentacles, right. So what I am getting from those two cards is, divine counterparts. Queen and King of Pentacles. You two people, the two of you together can make miracles happen. You're both on the way to achieving your dreams and desires, your goals. You're both individuals that when you set your mind to something, you have the power to make it happen. I'm just drawn to all of the yellow in this card, along with the yellow in the personal boundaries card, which relates to the solar plexus chakra. Very confident individuals, both of you, because I think you've both seen through all of the hard work that you've managed to put in your life, every obstacle that you managed to overcome, both of you, just gives you more satisfaction and self-worth, allows you to see how strong you are and what you're able to achieve in life. And you're both on the way to achieving amazing things. This is someone that I think has a similar sort of direction in life set out for them. You want the same things, and I think working together hand in hand, you'll be able to achieve them like that. Pile 2. I don't know why I keep saying pile 1. You can see there also the mountain in the background with the Queen of Pentacles. This does represent like having to like overcome these hurdles. Strong earth energy, slowless, as I like to say, like slow and steady wins the race. You've managed to master this peak, and you're seeing the benefits for it, which is very sort of Capricornian energy too, right? Driven individuals that know what they want and are not going to take no for an answer. But divine counterparts, you complement each other very, very well. I think when you meet each other, you'll be able to like support each other and making your dreams come true. And I think that's really, really beautiful, pile 2. Good for you. Now let's get an idea about how you're likely to meet them in your future, when and how you're likely to meet them. We'll see if we can get a couple of cards from Spirit. Spirit, when are pile 2 likely to meet their future spouse? Their divine counterpart there with the Queen and King of Pentacles. That's just amazing. I love when that happens in tarot. Ooh, okay. You've got the Moon card. Interesting. The Moon is all about illusion and fear, right? Overcoming your fears and drawing upon like that spark within to guide you through the darkness in a way. You also have the Eight of Swords, which came out for pile 1 too, which is really quite interesting. I do sense for you, pile 2, that there's still things that maybe you're working on. There might still be a little bit of fear surrounding the idea about whether you will meet somebody, and I definitely see that your divine counterpart is out there. You two are meant to like make dreams come true. Whatever you put your mind to, you have the ability to achieve. But I just sense that maybe you're still working through a little bit of like fear surrounding your own abilities, or whether you feel like you deserve love. I mean, take what resonates here, but the Eight of Swords represents being trapped in your own mind, and you can see here that the querent, the woman, can easily come out of these binds and take the blindfold off and just walk away, and leave her woes behind. The Moon card can also talk about relying on your intuition to sort of help you through a certain situation. So what I think you need to do is just to trust that everything will be okay. Try not to allow any thoughts about what you need to do in the future, any negative self-beliefs that you might have to hold you back, and know that if you trust in yourself and overcome your own fears, that's when you're likely to meet this person. Potentially it's something that they're working through too. So that does indicate to me that maybe it's a little while off in the future. I hope that doesn't sort of deter you in any way, but I just sense and picking up on the fact that you both might still be working on like some of these hurdles that you saw in the Queen of Pentacles. You're still climbing that mountain. You're still getting to the top. You're still learning to believe in yourself, but it's definitely part of your journey in life, because there's so much abundance, wealth, love, compassion, like confidence, radiating confidence, and achieving your goals that you've got to look forward to, So just believe that you are amazing, and the two of you together are unstoppable. You've just got to trust in yourself and follow your intuition, as I picked up on with the Moon card, yes, follow your intuition, those breadcrumbs that are going to lead you to this person and lead you to the better life that I think you deserve and that you can achieve. Absolutely. Hard work and discipline are your mottos in life, pile 2, and I think you have that in common. Lovely. Moving on from that, let's get some further messages for you from these cards that I wrote earlier. Just sort of like little nuggets of like loving wisdom and insight. Let's see what Spirit has to say about your relationship together. Spirit, can we get some messages for pile number 2, who are just unstoppable manifestors? Once they believe that they can achieve anything, that if they put their mind to whatever they want, they can achieve anything. One more card, please, Spirit. There we go, I'll take that one too. You complete me, yes. Divine counterpart. Or, I'm not too fond of the expression, but this is like twin flame energy in a way, like completing each other, having the same goals and dreams and helping each other, supporting each other to achieve those things. Beautiful. And your final card is that you're not only my lover, you're my best friend. That also came out for pile 1 too. Interesting. That's lovely. Somebody that just understands you intimately, understands your struggles, understands your vices, understands how your strengths when you work together can like take you to amazing places. Such a beautiful reading. You've got so much to look forward to in your future, pile 2. And I just think it's not even about you changing your mindset. It's definitely on the way. I absolutely believe it. But this is something that you will work through, and you have the ability to overcome and make amazing things happen. I really thoroughly enjoyed doing this reading for you, pile 2. It was really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I wish you a beautiful day, and let's move on to pile 3. Hello, welcome pile 3. You have the Cockatoo, or maybe it's a galah. I think it's a white cockatoo though. These birds, I'm not sure if they're native to Australia, so unless you've been to Australia, you may not have seen them. But they're extremely loud. They're quite beautiful animals, actually. They tend to hang around in groups. They're very gregarious, very social. So you never see a cockatoo on their own. You'll usually see them in groups of 3 or more. They perch in trees, and they have a very loud caw. When one starts cawing, the rest of them start cawing. They're quite loud and distinctive. So I just sense that this person, your future spouse, is quite out there, very confident, well-spoken, very opinionated, I'm picking up on. But it's also somebody that's very quite social, very community-oriented. Their family and their friends are very, very important to them. Somebody that orients themselves, their life around their community and their family, their core family. So I get a very, very loving, opinionated individual. So that's what I'm picking up on from the Cockatoo. But let's have a look at your oracle cards to get a little bit more information about their personality and their strengths, and maybe some of their weaknesses too that they're currently working on. Your first card, is number 49, Divine Consciousness, Interconnection, Expansion, Oneness and Light. Beautiful, okay. You have the Seeing card, number 37. Perspective, Truth, Knowledge and Clarity. Now this is really interesting because one of the previous piles also got 2 cards, one related to the mind chakra or the third eye chakra, and one also related to the crown chakra. So this does indicate to me that this person, both of those chakras are to do with the mind and I guess connecting to a higher realm. So I sense that this person is probably very intelligent and intellectual also, similar to the other pile. I'm not going to tell you which one if you want to go and check another pile. I do see somebody that I think is probably a strong communicator, so is quite verbose, speaks very, very well, is very articulate, is quite intellectual, very cerebral, analytical I'm picking up on, absolutely. Somebody that I think sees things from a different point of view, is very open to trying new ways to overcome a problem or a challenge. I think is probably very open in general and takes on different opinions from other people. So has a very open mind. If they hear something that it would enhance their situation or is a better way to do something, I think they're quite open to actually taking on that advice. But I'm also picking up on somebody that I sense may be quite sort of spiritually inclined too. With the Divine Consciousness card, this does talk about, it says the oneness and light interconnection. This talks about connection to the divine realm, right? To their angels and their spirit guides, a lot of downloads. You can see with this light coming down, it almost looks as if it's a lightning bolt of wisdom and insight. And with the Seeing card, this is about clairvoyance, seeing things from a different perspective, being able to see where certain things would lead, not necessarily seeing into the future, but being able to see what the best path is to get to a certain goal. As I mentioned, very, very analytical. They have the ability to take one step at a time, or at least to plan and to see what the best possible situations are from each and every situation that they're in. So incredibly intelligent, very bright, but very, very open to different belief systems. They trust the insight and the wisdom that comes to them when they have a sort of sudden download or an epiphany. They'll follow that. I also sense that they're quite inclined to trying to help other people out with the things that they say. So somebody that likes to give advice, or maybe is just very, very compassionate and likes to try and make other people feel welcome, and just, they've always got a good word to say, you know, I'm sensing. Ooh, and then you have the Pisces card. Okay. Wow, very similar to one other pile, which got the card of Neptune, which is the ruler, the co-ruler of Pisces. So as I mentioned, you may want to go back and have a look at another pile, because I think there'll probably be a similar message there for you, pile 3, if you were inclined to do so. It says here, this energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate, and forgiving. It confuses and softens resolve. Okay, Pisceans tend to be, well, they're quite mystical and in touch with the ethereal realms. Very sort of spiritual and inclined to like divine guidance and trusting their intuition. Incredibly intuitive and go with the flow. They're a mutable sign that is quite open to like new concepts and new ideas, changing paths if they need to, taking on new things. Just seeing what happens with life and where life takes them, and just trusting that everything will work out okay. As I mentioned also here, it says here compassionate. So this person is very, even though they might be very loud and out there and quite confident, I sense that they direct that energy into like using it for the greater good and helping other people to try and lift people up with their sort of compassionate and loving energy. Almost in a way what I would consider to be, with the Piscean card here and the Divine Consciousness card, somebody that channels like divine wisdom to better society, to better the people that need it. Oh, okay, synchronistic. The 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces. Interesting. So what does it say here? This is the area of your life that is overwhelming. You yield to a greater cause or power. Okay. Yes, so absolutely somebody that is very spiritually inclined. They may actually consider themselves to be quite religious, but very dogmatic in their spiritual beliefs. They may go to church regularly on a Sunday, or whatever their religion is, they follow those dogmatic sort of protocols to a T. Or if they're just quite spiritual, they may be somebody that spends a lot of time in meditation, trying to enhance the connection to the divine. I sense when they're in a place of where their mind is calm, which I also think is probably very hard for this person, because I do sense they're quite analytical and cerebral. They're in their mind a lot. So to shut their mind off is something that's probably not very easy for them. But when they're able to do so and get into a place of like calm and peace, then that's when they get these divine, sparks of wisdom and insight that they can then help better their own lives. Because it does say here, yield to a greater power. It's through like challenges in life that, when you try and do something over and over and over and it's not getting you anywhere, it's like surrendering to a higher power that allows you to see the way out of a certain dark situation. I think this person has really found spirituality in a way to almost in a way to drive them forward in life. That's the thing that's allowed them to break free of any sort of addictive patterns, bad habits, thought patterns that weren't working for them. So spending a lot of time in meditation and prayer is probably something that's very important to them, so they can switch their mind off, just to have a break from that racing mind that they may have, because they're incredibly intelligent. But they use that insight and wisdom to better their own lives, to take them forward. They follow their intuition to a T, I sense, but I also sense that they have a lot of insight into other people's lives. Very, very perceptive, I see with the seeing card here. What does it say? Perspective. But very perceptive. They can read people like a book. They know when people are feeling down. They know what to say to make them feel better. So they're incredibly insightful, incredibly compassionate and loving, endlessly loving. They have a lot of love to give, but they've also got a very big personality, very generous, gregarious. They like to be around other people and to lift people up. Somebody that I think is probably very, very popular, just because they're confident in their own abilities, but they have a lot of love to give to other people. And your final card is the card of present. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love into your current circumstances, I should say. That's really beautiful. Okay, so that really goes well with what I was saying with the divine consciousness and the seeing card. I think that through time and through experiences, this person has learned to appreciate the finer things in life by actually spending time, you know, being in the moment, being present in the moment. They do that through like meditation, prayer. When they're out having a good time, they're really focused on the people that they're with, very attentive to what's going on in their environment at that moment in any given time. Somebody that I think probably enjoys being out in nature and connecting with the divine through our five senses in a way. But I have a feeling too, similar to the other pile, with the 12th house here and the Pisces card, that this person hasn't always had it easy. Remember, Pisceans, they go in different directions. The two fish are swimming in different directions. One is like away from reality and one is towards reality. There's this constant conflict. I should know this because I'm a Piscean sun myself. Constant conflict of like wanting to be here and present and to make the best possible lives for ourselves, but also wanting to fantasize and get away from reality and believe in like the external realms and contact like, you know, our past loved ones and stuff like that. So they may struggle sometimes just being present. I think that's something that they'd have to do a lot of work on, and it's something that they're getting better at over and over and over. So they definitely, I think, dedicate a lot of time to just trying to quiet their mind and to actually be where they are right now and not let their fantasies, their anxieties sort of take them away from reality in their life. But for the best part, I think that's something that they're able to like share and offer to other people too. Somebody that I think would do really well like being a carer, a healer, like a spiritual guide, potentially, maybe even a teacher, somebody that dedicates a lot of time to like imparting wisdom on other people, potentially even a counselor or some sort of like healer, somebody that works in like the healing modality as like a nurse or a doctor or something like that. But yeah, absolutely a very loving, full-rounded, incredibly confident and people-oriented individual. So good for you, pile 3. I hope that's kind of what you're after in your future spouse. But moving on from that, let's get some further messages from the tarot about, we'll get 2 cards to start with to continue on with this theme about their personality and their strength, to get a little bit more insight about their personality. And then we'll get some cards related to how you might possibly meet them in the future. Spirit, can we please get some further messages for pile number 3 about their future spouse's personality and their strengths, please? What are they like? What do they like to do? Who are they? 2 cards, please, Spirit, for pile number 3. They're a little mysterious also. Ooh, okay. The 9 of Pentacles, beautiful card. This does indicate to me that they're quite independent. They like to spend a lot of time on their own. It's lovely that you can see the Queen is out in nature, connecting to nature with the bird here, being surrounded by so much greenery. Quite proud of the life that they've created on their own. Somebody that's very connected to nature, I think. So they might be very earthy, very grungy, kind of like almost hippie-ish in personality a little bit. But I sense that they've managed to achieve a lot of greatness in their own right, because the 9 of Pentacles indicates overcoming your challenges in life to actually be able to produce the life that you want for yourself. So as I mentioned here, they're very, very confident and they really trust in their own abilities, I sense. So they've managed to produce the life that they want for themselves. And I think they're probably at the point in time now where they want to be able to share this life with somebody else, pile 3, and that's you. This is your future spouse we're talking about here. But yes, definitely somebody that like trusts in like doing things slowly and getting better and building up their life like through slow and steady progress, you know. And they've managed to achieve a lot because the 9 of Pentacles has developed the life that they want for themselves. Any further messages, please, Spirit? So I sense somebody that's very, very hardworking too. Not only in the sense that they've actually managed to achieve their goals, but I think they've actually spent a lot of time overcoming any challenges that they may have had in the past. I'm really picking up on someone that would do well as a life coach. There you go, okay. And you have the 8 of Swords, right? which is a beautiful card, beautiful energy. This is fast-paced energy of things taking off, your dreams coming true. They may also be somebody that enjoys traveling. The Eight of Swords can talk about like going on a trip. It's about moving through the air, going to different locations. So if they've done very, very well for themselves and they're quite independent, maybe they enjoy, you know, the finer aspects of life and going on holidays, seeing the world, expanding the horizons. But as I mentioned earlier, the Eight of Swords can also talk about like messages, being a communicator. It's all about fast-paced energy. So this can talk about somebody that's very, very quick-witted, that has a powerful voice and that likes to share their voice. Somebody that's very, very confident, knows where they're going, likes to lift people up, as I mentioned earlier too. So I'm just sensing somebody that likes to impart wisdom, their divine wisdom, to other people when they're feeling a bit down. They have a lot of love to give, and they like to see people smiling, you know, which I think is really lovely. So moving on now, let's get an idea, pile 3, about how you're likely to meet them, when and how you might meet this person. Spirit, can we please get 2 cards that represents how pile number 3 might meet their future spouse in the future, hopefully in the near future. Woo! You have the Knight of Cups, lovely. Okay. Wow, look at that. Look at the 2 cards that flew out for you. That's awesome. You have the Soulmate card with the 2 of Cups. And you have the Knight of Cups, which is a romantic, compassionate, like inspired romantic. So they're very, very creative, soft energy too. They have a lot of love to give. They're very, very loving. I sense this is someone that has a lot of like gestures to offer. The Knight of Cups is a gentleman. Depending on your gender and what you're interested in, this person is just somebody that will do a lot of like big, bold gestures to show off their love. And this is somebody that you're supposed to meet, because the 2 of Cups is the soulmate, right? Where that divine counterpart that balances you out and that you're supposed to share your life with, that allows for a lot of healing to occur. When and how you might meet them? With the Knight of Cups, this indicates like when you're at a place where you feel like you're progressing your own life where you want it to go, when you are happy and feeling a lot of love for yourself. The Knight of Cups is somebody that's, you know, been through their adolescence, knows what they want, and they're on the way to achieving those things. So I think just living your life the way you are, going after the things that you want that bring you happiness, is where you're going to meet somebody that I think probably has very similar like interests to you, pile 3, and definitely has a lot of love to offer, and is somebody that is quite willing to declare their love and to show their love off, is what I'm seeing from these 2 cards, which I think is absolutely truly amazing. And I think you're very, very lucky, because the 2 of Cups really indicates soulmate energy, somebody that is your companion, that just wants the same things from life as you, and will support you on your journey to achieving those things. Beautiful reading so far for you, pile 3. Good for you. Let's get some closeout messages for you, pile 3, with these little cards that I made earlier. They're just little divine insights of love and wisdom about your relationships, talking about how your relationship will be when you're together. Spirit, can we please get some messages for pile number 3 about their future spouse? Somebody that I see wants the same things. I am lost without you. Oh, and not surprising, because you are their soulmate. You've got the 2 of Cups indicating that you are supposed to meet each other and help each other out on your journey in life, you know? Oops, and your next card. You drive me wild and crazy, right? That goes well with the Knight of Cups here, which is a true romantic, right? I am picking up on, when I was writing this card, I was talking more about like sexual desire, really. So this is somebody that like just is really into you. I think they really, really enjoy the intimate moments that you have together. They're not only then passionately in love with you, but I think, you know, they're quite attracted to you, and they wouldn't know what to do without you. They complete you, and vice versa. Beautiful reading for you, pile 3. That's all I have for you. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this reading for you, and I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I wish you a magical day, and we'll move on to pile 4. Hello, welcome pile 4. You have the kangaroo with a cheeky little bow there. Interesting, I love it. Kangaroos. They're interesting animals. Well, they're very, very athletic animals, actually. They're quite fit. They're very muscular. They, do a lot of big jumps, and they like to roam around the countryside. So I sense this is someone that enjoys traveling, someone that enjoys the country, somebody that enjoys working out and looking after their body. They're quite free. I get a really strong feeling and sensation of freedom with the kangaroo. Somebody that likes to be a bit of a free thinker, and they really relish their freedom. Maybe don't like to be tied down to a 9 to 5 or a certain routine. They like to get out and about in nature and do what they want when they want, is what I'm getting from that. But also interesting that you've got the bow there too. So this really does indicate to me that there's this interesting dichotomy of the need to be free, but also to continue to be really diligent with... I'm also picking up, sensing an air of intelligence with this group. Somebody that wears a bow tie is a little bit quirky, I think. Probably quite intelligent, but we'll see what the cards have to say anyway. About your future spouse. So we'll look at these cards to get a little bit of an idea about their personality, their strengths, and maybe some of their current weaknesses or vices that they're working through. Ooh, you have the self-esteem card. Nice. Number 21. Confidence. Self-love, self-worth, and pride. Okay. Yeah, that quite goes well with the kangaroo. Very strong-willed, determined individuals that just do what they want where they want. They'll go where they want. They sleep when they want. Somebody that knows themselves quite intimately. And the solar plexus chakra, that's really interesting. So the self-esteem card is also, you can see they're both yellow. The self-esteem card relates to the solar plexus chakra, indicating somebody that I sense is very, very confident in their own abilities and is very driven to achieve amazing things. Somebody that really believes in themselves, that doesn't doubt themselves. When they want something, they will go after it and they make it happen. I sense that this person's probably already had a lot of success in life. You can see the sun emerging behind this woman in the background I'm drawn to, indicating that they've found happiness, they found their life purpose. They're really at peace with where they are at life right now, and they want to keep working towards that. They have some really amazing lofty goals that they've got in mind, and they won't stop till they achieve it, which kind of goes well with the kangaroo. They take leaps and bounds towards the things that they want in life. They don't just sort of stroll towards it progressively, slowly over time. This is somebody that really knows how to make things happen really quickly, I think. Is quite innovative in tackling problems or knowing how to get the best result out of a certain situation, I see. Somebody that won't take no for an answer, and if they want something, they make it happen now, not in the future. They're like, well, why would I want it a year's time? Why, when I could do this, this, and this, and I can get it in my life pretty much right now? That's what I want, and I'm going to make it happen. So somebody that I think probably people see as being very, very confident. It does say they're confident in the number 21, self-love. I sense they're probably not very cocky either. How sometimes confidence can err on the cocky side. This person does have that balance, that nice balance of knowing themselves and knowing what their skills are, knowing what their gifts are, knowing how to achieve the things they want, but are very, very humble too. They're not overconfident. They're not prideful or boastful, I think, which I think is really beautiful. Good for you, pile 4. But yes, a very driven individual. There's a lot of fire here. So they're also probably very, very passionate about the things that they go for. They won't do something unless it brings them a lot of joy. I'm sensing a lot of fun in this individual. A bit of a playful side too. Unless it's fun or they're passionate about it, they won't bother. You have the moon. Your unconscious, sensitive, inner emotions and responses. Okay. The moon tends to represent, like I said, divine feminine, your intuition. It's a softer energy, a loving energy, a more compassionate energy, somebody that trusts in their intuitive nudges a little bit too. And that doesn't surprise me too, because I just sense that this is someone that has trusted in their intuitive guidance, and it's actually got them a long way in life. And because of that, they develop self-confidence in their own abilities, but in their ability to trust that if they continue to follow their own guidance, they will make amazing things happen. And as I mentioned, they have that beautiful dichotomy of not just being confident in themselves, that divine masculine that's got them so far, the ability to believe in their own talents and gifts, but a beautifully open divine feminine side to them that balances them out and allows them to really continue to trust in their own abilities and trust in their intuitive guidance that is taking them on a very successful journey already, I sense. Powerful. And the fourth house, lovely. Your home and the roots of your being. Interesting. I was picking up on an energy of somebody that's very outdoorsy. But they also have the fourth house there, which indicates that there's someone that probably wants to raise a family, that likes spending time at home, that likes the quiet time too, likes to care for other people. The fourth house is the divine mother in a way of caring and nurturing for your young. So maybe, raising a family is something that they want and is very, very dear and important in their life. Maybe they're waiting to meet you so they can start a family if that's what you're after, powerful. But most definitely I see somebody that just that has a lot of love to give and wants to care for someone. I sense they've achieved a lot in their own right in the past, and now they've got all this wealth. They have everything that they need, but now they want to be able to share that with people that are more important to them, which I think is really, really lovely. They do definitely have a very soft side to them. Interesting that the moon is the ruler of the fourth house, which is Cancerian energy. So they may have some prominent Cancerian placements like the moon in Cancer. Or the sixth house of career routines, the 10th house of career may also be in Cancer potentially. And your final card is a card of acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and loving embrace the rhythm of life. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, that's quite interesting. So the solar plexus chakra and the self-esteem card, these two related to the solar plexus chakra, can talk about the divine masculine of pushing forward, making things happen, determination. Sheer determination is what achieves your goals in a sense. But this card makes me think that in the past it wasn't always that easy for them. That potentially they were pushing down a wrong path. They're really going after something that wasn't working out for them, and they've had to maybe face a reality in life that what they were doing wasn't working for them. So it's kind of softened their resolve a little bit and made them a little bit more humble. Maybe they've had some failures in the past that didn't work out, but now they've found something that they're passionate about, and trusting in their intuitive nudges and their own sort of subconscious is what's getting them to, what's allowed them to find peace and harmony and to find their own purpose and direction, You're ready to release control of situations or people. I just sense that maybe they haven't always had it easy, even though these cards do indicate that they've had a lot of success. And I think they probably have powerful. They've had to work for the success. It hasn't come like that. Somebody that maybe has powered on despite having a lot of challenges in life, or maybe they've had a tower moment where something fell apart and they had to start again, but they didn't crumble under the weight of those failures. It only inspired them to continue and to start going after the things that I think now they realize are more important to them. And they've managed to achieve a lot. The next thing that they want is to raise a family and to have their own home, a place to call their own with the people that they love. And acceptance indicates that they're probably very, very accepting of other people's personalities and people's vices too. Someone that's probably had to work through their own challenges, and because of that, they understand that life isn't always, hunky-dory. Life isn't just so easy all the time. And I think that's they've got the beautiful balance of the divine masculine and feminine. Lucky you, pile 4. I hope that's kind of what you're after. But moving on from that, let's get some further insight and wisdom from the tarot to see. We'll get 2 cards to start with to get some more information about their personality and their strengths and maybe what it is that they want from life. And then after that, we'll get some cards that represent how you're likely to meet them in the future, when and where you might meet them. Spirit, can we please get some cards for pile number 4 about this person's strengths and personality. The three of wands. I'm instantly drawn to like the yellow here in this card, which really goes well with the solar plexus and the self-esteem card related to the solar plexus chakra. Lots of fiery passionate and desire. This person is determined. When they put their mind to something, they won't take no for an answer. It's also the 3, which is related to expansion and growth, right? Very Sagittarian energy of wanting to make their dreams come true. The three of wands represents being on that journey of making your dreams coming true, right? You've had the idea, the spark of inspiration, which is the ace of wands. You've planned and visualized in the 2 of wands, and now they're on the way to making their goals come true, making their goals a reality. And what's interesting also with the 3 of wands is that the 4 of wands is all about homecomings and recognition, coming back to the people that you care about and sharing and celebrating the success of your spiritual journey with those people that are most important to you. So this person is on the way to achieving more of their goals. They're a visualizer. They know what they want. They can see in their mind's eye what it is that they want, and they know how to make it happen. They're a go-getter. They're an inspired leader. And they want to share that with those people that are most important with them, or to them, I should say. And your next card. Is the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Beautiful. Making their dreams come true. Not surprising with the 3 of wands. They're on the way to making their wishes come true, to achieving each and every one of these trophies, right? The 9 of Cups is an interesting card. People just tend to think it's just about wish fulfillment like that, like you ask for it and it happens. No, the 9 of Cups is making your dreams come through struggling, through hardships. It comes after the 8 of Cups, where this person has had to walk away from things that weren't serving them. As I mentioned earlier, which I picked on with the acceptance card, they've had some challenges and they've had to maybe start again or change paths, or accept that some things in their life they had to let go of. And they had to walk away from the 8 of Cups to go after the 9 of Cups, where they feel more at peace with themselves and they've achieved the things that they want in their life. Their dreams and wishes are coming true. So, wow, this person's going to achieve amazing things, pile 4. I would call them like an entrepreneur, or some sort of like somebody that does really, really well in a profession that like makes a lot of money, or does something that they're passionate about anyway. Sorry, pile 4, I got a phone call. And the phone cut out, but I didn't notice. I just rejected the phone call and kept talking. I kept going with the reading, and I've missed about 6 or 7 minutes of my reading, but that's all right. We'll keep going from where we were. So I was just talking about the 9 of Cups and how they've been through a lot of hardships and trials and tribulations and have managed to overcome it. They had to walk away from certain things that weren't working for them and accept if they want their life to progress further on, that they need to go off on a different journey, take on a different mindset and try something new. And they've done that, right? They're still on this path of like making their dreams come true. I think they're probably doing very, very well already, and they've made a lot of their dreams come true already where they are right now. But they're definitely somebody that wants to keep going, that takes a lot of pride in their work. I think they take a lot of pride in making things happen for themselves. And I think they want to share that with somebody that that probably has a very similar mindset, So I think they're definitely an amazing individual. As I mentioned, somebody that I would call like an inspired leader, an entrepreneur, that knows how to like turn their dreams into reality, which I think is really beautiful. But moving on from that pile 4, let's get an idea now about when you're most likely to meet this person in the future. As I mentioned, when I got the phone call, I continued on with the reading, and I already had got 2 cards to indicate what possibly you're currently going through and what it is that may need to happen until you meet this person. And the 2 cards that you got were, I've decided to use them again and not to shuffle again, because it was it's just a strong story, I think, and I think these cards came out for a reason. So you got the 5 of Cups, and you also got the Fool card, which I think is really beautiful. We'll talk about the 5 of Cups first. So The Five of Cups tends to talk about disappointment, holding on to the past a little bit, maybe looking back on the past and wishing things were different. You can see here the Aquarian is looking down on the 3 cups that have spilled over and fallen over, but he's kind of like he's not focusing on the fact that there's still 2 cups behind him that he can lift up and take on his journey and keep moving forward. It's all about like being in a mindset of disappointment, of things not working out for you in the past. And because this is a love reading, this could relate to maybe being in a relationship that fell apart. It may have been possibly an abusive relationship. You've had some hardships in love in the past, maybe more than one relationship that didn't work out. Or maybe there was somebody in your past that you thought was the one for you and you're still caught up on that person. You might still be pining for them. You know, you want them back possibly. And you keep thinking about them and you wish that things were different. But the beautiful thing is, there's a lot of optimism in this card because there are still 2 cups. There's a lot more to look forward to in your future once you choose to turn around and actually focus on what your future and present has to offer. And then you have the Fool card, right? Once you let go of anything that's been holding you back in the past, it may not just be relationships, it may have been some failures that you had, things didn't work out the way you were hoping for, you might just be feeling a little bit glum and down right now, but you will change your mindset. And when you get back to a place where you're feeling happy about yourself, with all this yellow and the sun shining bright here, remember the sun represents like radiant energy of feeling good, positive energy, creative energy. That's when you are likely to take that leap of faith and meet somebody new. This is all about changing your mindset from maybe dwelling on things that didn't work out or relationships that didn't work out in the past, and believing that there is still a much better, more positive, loving, exciting relationship ahead of you. Somebody that is like, that has similar like interests to you and is your divine counterpart, that wants the same things, that has the ability to know, you know, how you can achieve your goals to help you on that journey. When you change your mindset and trust that everything will be all right when you choose to look forward, that's when I think you're going to meet this amazing individual. They're going to help you on your journey too. The Fool is starting their journey, just trusting that everything will be okay. And I sense they've got so much wisdom, so much experience. 9 cups there. They've been through it all. There's so much experience that they've garnered on the things that they've been through that they can help with you to achieve the things that you want. But I also think this is someone that's going to like, when you work together on a similar project, you'll have a lot of success. Somebody that wants to go on journeys, that likes to travel the world, is really into like being outdoors, probably doesn't like to stay in one place too much. Even though I think they're very dedicated to making things come true, they like to like set their mind to certain goals and they know how to make it happen. I also just am picking up on somebody that like likes to move around a lot. It wants to travel the world, wants to experience new cultures, likes to be on a journey, you know, which is what the Fool represents essentially. And there's a lot of loving energy here, absolutely. You've got the dog by his side. He just wants to get out and have fun. And that's definitely a big part of this person's personality, is just making everything fun and doing the things that they love. Doing things that they love that makes other people feel inspired and happy too. So I think this is a beautiful individual, someone that will make you feel as if like you've turned your life around. Like, look at the difference in these cards. This is dark and gloomy, and the Aquarian is upset and disappointed. And the Fool here is just living his best life. He can't wait to get out and take that jump, you know? So it's going to be a massive turnaround from what you're experiencing now, or maybe what you've experienced in your recent past, Pile 4. But there's so much to look forward to, absolutely. But let's get a closeout message for you from these little messages of love and divine wisdom and insight that I put together. It'll give us a representation of what your relationship will be like together. Spirit, can we please get some messages for pile number 4 about their relationship? Anything they need to know? Any messages of love, please, Spirit? Ooh, that's too many cards. Any messages for pile 4? There you go. We'll take those 3. You're lucky each and every other pile, and you got 2, but you got 3 pile 4. Good for you. I've never experienced a love. Well, I was just talking about that. I've never experienced a love so deep and true before. Beautiful. Yeah, experienced a love so deep and true. They've experienced it a lot, and I think you have too, but this is a love that's meant to stand the test of time. This is something that you've never experienced before. Something that will be like earth-shattering, you know. I dream about you in my sleep all the time. Oh, that's lovely. And your final message, you're not only my lover, you're my best friend. That's really beautiful. Which reminds me of like soulmate energy, somebody that you're supposed to meet that just understands what it is that you want, understands the struggles that you've been through, and really accepts you for who you are. And wants the same things as you, has a similar interest and a similar outlook on their future. You've got it all coming your way, powerful. This is really, really amazing. This person's going to rock your world, I think. Good for you. That's all I have for you. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you. I hope you enjoyed it too. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.